In this video, we will be reviewing Introductory Set 2 from the 4-star Sight Reading Curriculum, Level Prep A. This video is intended to be a companion to the workbook that you already are using. It is designed for you to come to this video each day after you complete your sight reading activities to verify that you did them correctly. This video does use titles. You can use the titles to forward to the day that you are currently working on. We'll begin with Day 1. Before you proceed, please make sure that you have completed the Day 1 activities on your own. These activities you will see in the video are done quickly, and they are for you to verify that you did your activities correctly. Let's get started with Day 1. Activity 1. Play these landmark notes with the given fingering. Use your right hand for treble clef notes and your left hand for bass clef notes. The first note is treble clef to be played with the right hand. This is middle C to be played with finger 2. The second note is bass clef to be played with left hand. This is bass F just below middle C to be played with finger 2. The third note is to be played with your right hand because it is treble clef. This is treble G just above middle C to be played with right hand middle finger 3. The fourth note is for your left hand because it's in the bass clef. This is bass C, 1 octave below middle C. It is to be played with your fourth finger of your left hand. The last note is for your right hand because it is treble clef. This is treble C, 1 octave above middle C, to be played with the pinky number 5. Moving along to Activity 2, tap one measure of the beat with your hand or foot. Continue tapping while you speak, tap, or clap the rhythm. This rhythm is in 4/4 time. Remember, this means that there will be 4 beats in every measure, and it is the reason why we will tap in 4 beats before we begin. Writing in the rhythm words before you begin can be very helpful. The rhythm words for this example are ta, 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 ta. 1, 2, 3, 4, ta, 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 ta. Number 3, name the starting landmark note and finger, then play these patterns while counting out loud. Looking at the first pattern, it indicates to play in the treble clef, which will be our right hand, finger 3 on treble G, just a few notes above middle C. This example is in 4/4 time, and we can write in the counts ahead of time to prepare. Dashes are used to connect the beats when notes are held longer than 1 beat. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we will look at example 2, which is written in the bass clef for the left hand to be played on middle C with left hand finger 2. This example is also in 4/4 time, and once again, writing in the counts ahead of time can be very helpful. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And finally, Activity 4 for today. Activity 4 says to add dynamic markings, either pianos or fortes, to the landmark notes in Activity 1 for today. Then play the notes again, now listening for dynamic contrasts. We will add dynamics to each of the notes in number 1. I am choosing forte, piano, forte, piano, forte. You can choose your own pattern. It does not have to be the same as mine. Forte, piano, forte, piano, forte, We are about to move on to day 2. Before you proceed, please make sure that you have already done the activities in your own workbook at home. Welcome to day 2 of activities. We'll begin with activity 1. Play these landmark notes with the given fingering. Use your right hand for treble clef notes and your left hand for bass clef notes. Play the first note with left hand finger 2 on middle C. Play the second note with right hand finger 4 on treble C, 1 octave above middle C. Play the third note with left hand finger 5 on bass F, which is a few notes below middle C. Play the fourth note with right hand finger 1 on treble G, a few notes above middle C. Play the final note with left hand finger 4 on bass C, 1 octave below middle C. Moving on to activity 2, tap one measure of the beat with your hand or foot. Continue tapping while you speak, tap, or clap the rhythm. The time signature for today's rhythm is 3/4. This is significant because it tells us that there will be 3 beats in every measure and also determines how many beats we will tap in before we begin the rhythm today. Writing in the rhythm words before we begin helps us to prepare. Today's rhythm is ta, 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 ta. The rhythm. 1, 2, 3. Ta, 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 ta. We're ready to move on to activity 3. Name the starting landmark note and finger, then play these patterns while counting out loud. The first example is written in the treble clef, so it is to be played with your right hand finger 4 on treble C, 1 octave above middle C. Because the time signature for this example is 4/4, there will be 4 beats in every measure. Writing in the counts for the beats before you begin is a helpful way to prepare to play. Remember to use dashes to connect the numbers for notes that have longer values than 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. The second example is in the bass clef, so it is to be played with your left hand finger 3 on bass F, a few notes below middle C. The time signature for this example is also 4/4, so there will be 4 beats in every measure. Again, it is helpful to write the counts in before you begin to prepare to play. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. The final activity for today is to stand up and march while you clap or sing today's rhythm reading pattern, which is number 2 up above. Accent the first note of every measure with a loud stomp of your foot. So the first note of every measure must be louder than the notes around it. For the purpose of this video, I am going to clap to demonstrate. 1, 2, 3. Ta, 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 ta. Ta. Next will be the day 3 activities. Once again, please make sure that you have already completed the work in your book at home before you watch this section of video. Welcome to day 3 activities. Activity 1. Play these landmark notes with the given fingering. Use your right hand for treble clef notes and your left hand for bass clef notes. The first note should be played with right hand finger 3 on treble G, just above middle C. The second note should be played with left hand finger 3 on bass C, 1 octave below middle C. The third note should be played with right hand finger 4 on middle C. The fourth note should be played with left hand finger 2 on bass F, just below middle C. The last note should be played with right hand finger 2 on treble C, 1 octave above middle C. Let's move on to activity 2. Tap one measure of the beat with your hand or foot. Continue tapping while you speak, tap, or clap the rhythm. Today's example is in 4/4 time. This means that there will be 4 beats in every measure and also indicates that we should tap 4 beats in before we begin tapping the rhythm pattern today. Writing in the rhythm words is a helpful way to prepare. Today's rhythm words are ta, ah, ta, 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 ta. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ta, ah, ta, 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 ta. Next, we will look at activity 3. Name the starting landmark note and finger, then play these patterns while counting out loud. The first example is written in the treble clef, so it is meant for your right hand thumb, finger 1, to play on middle C. This example is in 4/4 time, so there will be 4 beats in every measure. Writing in the counting numbers for the beats before you play is a helpful way to prepare. Remember to use dashes to connect the numbers for notes that have longer than 1 beat value. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Example 2 is for your left hand finger 4 to play on bass C, 1 octave below middle C. This example is also written in 4/4 time, so there will be 4 beats in every measure. Writing out the counting numbers for those beats is a helpful way to prepare before you play. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Today's activity 4 says to play the first pattern in today's sight playing activity 1 octave lower using your left hand and to begin with finger 5. That means that we will play the rhythm in the first example, but we will be on bass C with our left hand pinky. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. We are about to start day 4. Please complete the activities in your book before you move forward. Welcome to day 4 activities. Activity 1, play these landmark notes with the given fingering. Use your right hand for treble clef notes and your left hand for bass clef notes. The first note is to be played with left hand finger 1 on bass F, just below middle C. The second note is to be played with right hand finger 5 on treble C, 1 octave above middle C. The third note is middle C. Because it is written by the bass clef, it is intended to be played with the left hand finger 3. The fourth note is right hand finger 3 to be played on treble G, just above middle C. The last note is bass clef C to be played with left hand finger 5. This is 1 octave below middle C. Next, we will look at activity 2. Tap one measure of the beat with your hand or foot. Continue tapping while you speak, tap, or clap the rhythm. Today's example is in 2/4 time. This means that there will be 2 beats in every measure, so tapping in one measure beforehand means that we need to tap 2 beats. Writing the rhythm words in is a helpful way to prepare before you tap. Today's rhythm words are ta, 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 ta. 1, 2, ta, 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 ta. Let's move on to activity 3. Listen for the strong, weak, weak accent pattern of 3/4 time while you play these patterns and count out loud. These instructions are referring to the meter of 3/4 time, which is also sometimes called the waltz beat. In this meter, the first note of every measure is accented, and the last two notes are lighter. So as you play, it should sound heavy, light, light, heavy, light, light. Example 1 is in the bass clef, so it is for your left hand finger 4 to play on bass F, just below middle C. This example is in 3/4 times, so there will be 3 beats in every measure, and writing in the counting numbers for those beats ahead of time can be a helpful way to prepare. Remember to use dashed lines to connect the numbers for notes that have a longer value than 1 beat. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Example 2 is in the treble clef, so it is for right hand finger 4 to play on treble G, which is just above middle C. This example is also in 3/4 times, so there will be 3 beats in every measure. Writing in the numbers ahead of time can be a helpful way to prepare. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. For activity 4 today, we are to create a new version of today's rhythm reading pattern by changing the order of the measures, and then sing, tap, or clap the new rhythm. I have decided to start with measure 1, then do measure 3, then 2, then 4. 1, 2, ta, 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 ta. That was just one example. There are many things that you could do to mix those measures around. You have made it to the last day, day 5. Once again, this is a reminder that before you move forward in the video to watch me do the day 5 activities, you should already have them completed in your own book. You have reached the final day. Welcome to day 5 activity. Activity 1. Play these landmark notes with the given fingering. Use your right hand for treble clef notes and your left hand for bass clef notes. The first note is to be played with right hand finger 4 on treble C. The second note is to be played with left hand finger 2 on middle C. The third note is to be played with right hand finger 1 on treble G. The fourth note is for left hand finger 3 on bass F. And the final note is for right hand finger 3 on middle C. Moving on to activity 2, tap one measure of the beat with your hand or foot. Continue tapping while you speak, tap, or clap the rhythm. Today's rhythm is in 3/4 time, which means there will be 3 beats in every measure, so to tap one measure of the beat in, we will need to tap 3 beats before we begin the rhythm. Writing in the rhythm words ahead of time can be very helpful. Today's rhythm words are ta, 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 ta. 1, 2, 3, ta, 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 ta. Activity 3. Name the starting landmark note and finger, then play these patterns while counting out loud. The first example is for right hand finger 2 to play on middle C. This example is in 2/4 time, so there will be 2 beats in every measure. It can be helpful to write in the counting numbers for the rhythm before you begin. In this case, all of the measures will have 2 beats. Please remember to use dashes to connect the numbers for notes that have longer than 1 beat. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. The second example is for your left hand finger 5 to play on bass C. This example is also written in 2/4 time, so there will also be 2 beats for every measure in this example. Writing the rhythm numbers in advance can be a great way to prepare to play. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. In today's Activity 4, we are supposed to create our own melody using the notes of the C major pentascale. In order to do this, we need to remember what the notes in the C major pentascale are. They are C, D, E, F, and G. The instructions tell us that we can begin on any note of the pentascale. We should include repeated notes and patterns that move up and down by a step. This is an example of a melody. You could create your melody any way you want as long as you are moving by one step at a time. In the next step of this activity, you should draw a picture of your melody. You can start by writing the starting note and finger and then draw arrows to show the direction of the pattern. And finally, we are to experiment with adding dynamics. Will your melody have forte, piano, or both? And title your melody. This is experimentation with adding dynamics. And that's it. You have completed all of the activities for all 5 days of Introductory Set 2. You did a great job. Thank you for all of your time and focus this week.